Yes, welcome back. So we were looking at the forms of equation of a straight line. We saw the general equation, we saw the slope of equation, then we saw the intercept, where we were introduced to the intercept. Now we were dealing with the illustration with questions to be solved. So now let's continue from the II, where we talk about what? The intercept on the x-axis, right? So the intercept on the x-axis simply means that the line, when we have a graph, the line cuts through the x-axis and the coordinate will be of the form a and then 0. It means that the coordinates for y, or the value for y, will be 0, and then the x will be a value. So if you look at it here in practice, we are saying that to find the intercepts of a straight line, right, the intercept of a straight line on the x-axis, put y is equal to 0 in the equation and solve for x, right? So look at the example, don't worry. Now in the intercept for on x-axis, we are saying that to find the intercept on the intercept of a straight line on the y-axis, put x value to be 0 in the equation and solve for x. So we are still doing substitution, so but you have to know what it means. So when we say find the intercept on the x-axis, what does it mean? So finding the intercept on x-axis means x has a value, y does not have a value. And when you go to the graph, the line cuts through the x-axis, right? It cuts through the x-axis and it's actually vertical. It's vertical. It moves up, straight line moving up, not bending, not curving in any way. Then when it comes to the y-axis, the y-axis, the line cuts through the what? The y-axis, and it is horizontal, and it has no value for the x, right? I'll show you in the next video where we look at the equation of lines parallel to the axis, where we see the diagrams. So now that we have understood this, now let's look at some examples, right? So here we are saying that find the gradient of the line, of the straight line, with the equation 7x plus 4y plus 2 is equal to 0, and find the intercepts on the x and y axis. So find the gradient of the straight line with the equation this. So here we are saying that to find the gradient of the line, make y the subject of the equation. Like we said, what is the equation here? We have 7x plus 4y plus 2 is equal to 0. So what do you do? First, make y the subject. When you make y the subject, the formula will become of the form y is equal to mx plus c. So the coefficient of x, which is m, now becomes the gradient, and that is what? Negative half. This is it. Do the math. That is as simple as ABC. Now, let's move on to what is it? Where we are saying that to find the intercept. Okay, now move on. Let me move back. We are saying that now we are finding the gradient, which is negative half. Negative which one is this? I think it's rather this. It's not negative half, it's negative 7/4. That's the gradient. Now the second aspect of it is that we should find the intercept on x-axis and also on the y-axis. So for x-axis, what do? We put y to be 0 and then we solve, right? For y-axis, we put x to be 0. So to find the intercept on the y-axis, put x to 0, right, in that equation. So in the equation and solve for y. So in substitution, we have 7x. Now 7x now is what? 0. Put there, and then we solve for y. Y will be negative half. Is that understood? Now take your time, pause the video, take screenshots, write it yourself. For math, we have to practice by writing. We don't read math only. We read math and write and practice and do assimilation. Now let's move on to the point where we look for to find the intercept on x-axis, put y is equal to 0 in the given equation and solve for x. Still substitution. So in the first one, we made y the subject by replacing the x variable with the x value, the coordinate that we were given, right? Not the coordinate that we were given, but out of that, sorry. So here we have this. So doing the math, this is just math, and I know so far, coming from chapter 1 up to chapter 6, this math is not difficult, right? So let's do this. So looking for that, we see that the intercept on x-axis becomes negative 2/7. Now let's look at the coordinate itself. So meaning looking for x value and y value, we are actually looking for the coordinate of a point. Even though the point was not named, we have this point. That is the coordinate. So negative 2/7, right? 2/7 of, and then 0, right? Now I think I have time. Let's quickly have a look at this. So this video is going to capture the illustrations on the forms of equation of a straight line, and then looking at the equation of lines parallel to the axis, right? So I don't know if I should do it in a separate video, but let's do it. So we are saying that the lines parallel to the axis have simple equations. So these are easy to spot. Now y is equal to c, and then where c is a constant, it's a constant, right? It's the equation of any parallel line to axis to the x-axis. For example, the lines given by y is equal to 0 and the y is equal to -1 are both parallel to the axis, to the x-axis, right? So when we say y is equal to 0, we have the equation of the axis. We are talking about the equation of the axis. Now looking for the other side, where x is equal to k, we do look at the illustration, don't worry, where k is a constant, is the equation of any line parallel. When we say lines are parallel, they are not meeting, right? They go straight, either vertical up or horizontally. They are not meeting at any other lines, right? Now when we are talking about the lines, this is what the plane, x and plane. So x and y planes are not graph. They are not the graph that we are drawing. So if we are saying they are not crossing or intersecting, it's not part of them. We are talking about any other line. So when you see this line, for instance, y is equal to 2, y is equal to c, these are the graph themselves. These are the graph 1, 2, 3. No, this is okay, and 4, right? So these are the lines that we are talking about. We are not talking about the planes that we are talking about. I think this one should be out. You get the point? So that's what we are talking about, right? So when I say that, that's what I mean. So now s is equal to k, and then where k is a constant, is the equation of any line parallel to the y-axis. For example, the lines given by s is equal to 3 and s is equal to -2. We are talking about it. For this expression, I'm talking about this graph. The first one talks about this first graph, right? So here we said that y is equal to what? K. And then I'll explain this later. Y is equal to k, and then y is equal to 2. So you see, this is the line, it's equal to 2, and then y is equal to -1, right? So what it means is that we are not having the values for x. That's what it means. So y-intercept or y-axis, it means that there's no value for the x. That's why the lines are going straight, right? Now when it comes to the x-axis, it means that there's no value for y. That's why you see 3 here up, and k is on the x-axis, 0 on the x-axis, -2 is on the x-axis. There's no y value along this line, this plane. That's what it means. So here too, you can see the same thing is applicable here. We see the y values. There's no x values along there. This is the x plane. There's no values along this. So that's what it means, right? I hope you got this. We will once again look at illustration again, where we will talk about the conditions, what they actually mean. So this is more like introduction, because the actual topic was on the illustration of the x-axis, y-axis, theoretically. So this is just introduction, right? So look at it. When we say y-axis, y-intercept, what does it mean, right? So we'll look at the next one and you understand it better. Bye for now.